Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad to have you here. So for today's tutorial we'll be learning how to draft our 360 flay. 360 flay. We all know that a cycle is equals to 360. So let's say the waist we are using, that's where we'll be attaching the flay to. That's the waist circumference that we are using is 26 inches, and then the length of the flay, let's say we want the length of the flay to be 5 inches. You know, we need the radius but we don't know the radius, so we have to look for the radius. Okay, remember I said the waist we are using is 26. Now 26, we are going to add 2-inch seam allowance. This is because, let's say for example now, your zip is going to extend towards the flay. Of course you need a seam allowance to do that. So we are adding 2-inch seam allowance to the 26 which is 28. So the new circumference that we're using now is 28. So to get our radius, remember back in school, a circumference, formula for circumference is 2 pi r. So to make our product of the formula, we are going to divide both sides by 2 pi. 2 pi cancel 2 pi. So we are left with radius is equals to circumference all over 2 pi. And our circumference is 28. 2 pi is 2 times 22 all over 7, which is 6.28. And when you divide 28 by 6.28, you have, I think, approximately 4.5. Approximately 4.5. Now, to know the exact inch you need to cut out from your fabric in order to avoid wasting your fabric, what we are going to do is to add the total length and the radius. You know, this is our radius. The length we are using is 5, but we have to add 1-inch seam allowance. That's half inch on both ends to that's on the upper part of the flay to connect the flay to the half cut, and also on the down part to use lining or to fold the flay. So that's why we have to add 1-inch seam allowance, which is equals to 6. So what we have to do is to add the length and radius, which is 6 plus 4.5, which is going to give us 10.5. 10.5. So what we need to cut out from our fabric will now be 10.5 times 2, which is equals to 21. We just need 21 inches. That's both the length and the breadth will be 21 inches. That's the wideness and the length of what we are going to cut will be 21 inches. I'm going to show us how to do that. So this is basically what we need to cut our flay. All the sides are 21 inches. All the 4 sides are 21 inches. So I'll go ahead and cut. All the sides, they are 21 inches. So this is it. So it's just to fold and take your measurements. So you fold it like this. After folding it, then you fold again. You can see the way I folded it. Then the next thing is to take your radius. The radius we are using here is 4.5. So you mark 4.5 round, and after that you connect the dots. So that radius is where our waist, that's where we are going to attach the flay to. If it's on our waist, that's the waist measurement. Then the next is to take the length of the flay, which is 5 inches. I've connected it. So I now went ahead to add half-inch seam allowance. You know, we need half-inch seam allowance for both the up and the down parts. So that's what I'm marking. And then you go ahead and connect it. So we are almost done with the flay. The next is to cut. You can see the way I'm cutting it. Then our flay is ready. But if your zip is going to extend towards the flare, you will know that you have to open one end. That was why we added a 2-inch seam allowance. But peradventure that you don't need a zip, you don't need to add that 2-inch seam allowance. You just go ahead and use the original waist, which was 26, because you don't need seam allowance. That's to add the zip. But if you need to add a zip, that the zip will extend towards the flare, you go ahead and add the seam allowance. So that is just it. I hope you find this tutorial helpful. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you.